Thanks for joining me today, James. We're going to discuss transiting Pluto in conjunction with your natal Saturn. And this transit occurred when you were 18. That was in 1969. And it's quite a important and sobering transit to occur at that age. So I'd like to inquire as to how you experienced that at the time.
Didn't like it. Um, I'd been so lighthearted and free. I just claimed my freedom. I was liberated from my parents' tyranny and blah blah blah, and I was free. And suddenly it was taken from me. And I was subject to powers bigger than me. I got involved with a woman who later would become my wife, and she was older than me and had a child, and so I was effectively a married man with a child at that age. It was just too young, and I was cast out by my father and penniless, therefore, and I had to get a job moving bananas in the cold storage and things like that. And then I got glandular fever and was unable to do anything. I couldn't talk or walk or anything for 2 weeks. All of which was happening at a time when I had a woman and a child to look after and support. It's like from having been a hippie 3 months earlier. It's like, oh dear, no, I didn't enjoy the Pluto transit in my Saturn at all. I grew up too fast, too hard, too soon.
Hmm. And that sounds very fitting from what I know about this aspect. Would you say it has, in the, now looking back, affected your sense of creativity and how you unfolded later on?
Strangely, that my creativity has to be understood differently to how you might think of it. I'm not an artist or anything like that. Um, but Venus is connected to my Saturn by square. My Saturn's in Virgo, so there's this capacity I have for detail, and it's retrograde, and I can really make sure I get things right, which is very handy for being an accountant. But it's also handy for being a songwriter, which later I became. And it wasn't as though I did anything particularly clever. I wasn't a musician really, but I could write simple songs so that they had a certain feeling quality. And I did that by getting everything perfect, the timing exactly so, and that half tone had to be there and not there. Like I'd work out the details with tremendous diligence, and I love doing that actually. you know. So then my sense of beauty is a bit Saturn in Virgo like because it's squaring my Venus, and yeah, I later became creative um, through being very diligent. I was trained as an accountant, which and a mathematician before that, so my mind really does think in straight lines. And yet
Mhm.
I'm also potentially a very creative person. So that's actually good for creativity when there's this friction, because I don't want to be at all ordinary or normal at all in my creativity. It has to be weird or it's not new. And so I've got that, and now I've got this diligent Saturn in Virgo type of mind, which likes to get things just so. That's quite a combination that works for creativity.
Okay. And linking that to the third principle, evolution, do you see this more difficult time where you started taking more responsibility or being burdened by more responsibilities and also being confronted by older archetypes? Did that somehow affect your evolution?
Yeah, I mean, I was a child, rather an immature child at university in the first term. And then by the third term, I was hugely responsible. And it was a shock. Um, some evolutionary paths take 50 years just to go up to the next notch. sometimes you get bamboozled in one weekend, and you just get a lifetime's worth of evolution done overnight. And it felt like that was going on for me, that I was suddenly a responsible man, more like in his 30s, and I wasn't even in my 20s yet. So I grew up really, really young.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing.